Hello, and welcome back to another horrible video. Today I'm here to talk about Combat Warriors. History of it. I'm going to make this into a series because the history of Combat Warriors is more in depth than you think. There's more history to it. In this series, it will pretty much explain why I complain about new Combat Warriors a lot in my new videos. But as well as teach you guys, or give you guys the full and true history of Combat Warriors. Now, let's get started. Old Combat Warriors, I'm gonna start talking about it from when I joined, which is pretty much the start of the game. So, what the other YouTubers show are clips and pictures of just very, very small bits of old Combat Warriors. Today I will be just telling you about one part of it, and I'm gonna make this into, a series that will teach every part of it. Yeah, you get what I mean. Let's get started with the first thing. We are going to talk about what the community was like. Now, you may know today Modern Day Combat Warriors as a game where people are extremely toxic. The whole game is truly competitive. It's not really even about having fun anymore. It's just being better than everyone else. You see people running around with Dragon Slayers, doing dances on you. It's not that fun, really, is it? It's just addictive and stuff. You get what I mean. Now, that's Modern Day Combat Warriors. Now, I'm going to tell you what the old game was like. Well, when you joined old Combat Warriors, you were met with the hardest game but funnest game of your life. You join in there and you see people battling on the field. They're just there to have fun and kill each other. You see people using different weapons of different types. You're fighting with your swords, and out of nowhere a gun comes and starts shooting you. You deflect its bullets. It's great. Everything's great. You walk around a bit more. You get more in depth with the community. Now, back then, this game only had 20 players a day playing per day. Only 20 players, and there was only one server. So just 20 players in one server a day. And what would happen was, the game was so hard back then, which made it fun, though. So hard that the player base would cycle through. There would be this small group of people that would come back to the game. It would cycle through, but like half of the players would not come back the next day. And that was pretty much the game for a long time. So, back then, it was a real community. You had a reputation in this game. If you messed it up, you could be known as the person who ruins people's fights. You could be known as the kill stealer. You could be known as a god tier player. Just by joining the game, everyone would know who you are. You had a reputation back then. And I remember, these people, it would be like a dominance fight. There were these certain people, I remember, like the best ones. You had Langzama, used to be the best player in the game. You could not kill this man. He was like almost impossible to kill. Then you had the second best, who always claimed that they were best. Huge jerk, by the way. Adeltian HR. They would always try and fight Langzama for dominance, but would always fail. Like, it was stupid. Then you had Bakili Sok, the god of parry. And in this game at the time, parry was extremely hard to use. 11-second cooldown and a 0.2-second hitbox. So no one actually used parry back then. It would be rare. Like, people would use it, but no one would actually land hits. It would be really rare to see someone land a hit. As well as, Modern Day Combat Warriors has a 2-second hitbox window, a 2-second cooldown, and if you land the parry, you can instantly do it again. See how much easier it's gotten. Now, why was he the god of parry? If you tried to parry bait this man, he would parry you. If you tried to evade his parry, he would parry you. If anything you did, he would somehow manage to get a parry on you, no matter what you did. And then the last one I remember, at least, I don't think there were any others. Dynamic Soloist, or I like to call him Traffic Cone Headman. He's in college now. That's how long this game's been out. So, Dynamic Soloist. He was the worst out of all of them, I would say. Good fighter, though. Pretty nice. So, those were like the best players of the time. And then you had some of the lower players, well known still, that were good at their own things. Like, yeah, okay, I don't need to explain that. So you had this nice community, and these people, lots of people would 1v1 on the beach of the map called Mortem Insula, on this beach next to the wood bridge. And this beach, nice open area, that's where Combat Warriors beach fighting styles came from. Everyone would just fight on the beach. That's where the tradition came from. Now, modern day Combat Warriors fights get interrupted so easily. It's so stupid and stuff. One guy just comes in and kills like 50 people instantly. Back then, the fight was more like you try and ruin the 1v1, and every single person on the server will come and kill you. Like, they will target you until you rage quit. They will push you out of the game. That's how respectable. Like, the game had more respect, I would say. It was a good balance of respect and toxicity, but it had lots of respect in it. Like, you could be respected back then. You try and ruin their 1v1, everyone gangs up on you. It's just that simple. And that's how the game's community was like. Now, the video's not too long, it seems, so I think I have some time before making a part 2 to talk about the combat system. Basics of the combat system. I'm gonna have to give a more in-depth video on certain types of weapons. So, at this time in the game, combat mechanics had grappling hooks. Not grappling hooks, a grapple system. You pressed E, you aimed, and shot a grapple, and you got grappled to the other side. Pretty nice. I already talked about the parry, so yeah. It had double jumping. Honestly, I'm glad that's gone. It was so annoying. The people with light weapons would just jump over you and stuff. It was so annoying. Then you had blocking. You could block attacks. And no, parry is not a block. It doesn't protect you from damage. Block did. And block had its own stamina bar, and each weapon had its own different amount of stamina the stamina bar had. It was really nice. And yeah, that was blocking. Melee weapons could deflect gun bullets. Back then, the game had assault rifles and SMGs. MP7, M16, and AK-47. Now, you may think that's OP. What the hell are you going to do against that? Well, you could deflect the bullets with melee weapons, which was nice. And yeah, pretty balanced game. Like, it was actually hard. I'll leave the guns for another video. I'll tell you guys that later. Another video. Yeah, that was the combat system. Is there anything I'm missing? Let me think here. So we got parry, we got blocking, we got double jump. The game did have running back then. The game had dashing. Now today the game has something called roll. Same thing, but imagine you just get instantly teleported. So imagine roll, but you instantly get teleported. That was dashing. It was pretty nice. You could jump off a cliff and then dash before you hit the ground. Really cool. The game had armor. I'll leave that for another video. No, yeah. And yeah, that was the combat system. I hope you hated this horrible history video. And I won't see you next time. Goodbye.